You have shoulder pain, impingement, tightness. You might think that your rotator cuff is weak and you need to spend a bunch of time strengthening it with drills like these. Well, I'm here to tell you that for the most part, that's complete BS. I'll teach you why those exercises don't work, and I'll show you a sequence of movements that can take care of a bunch of shoulder issues fast. Aside from stabilizing the shoulder, your rotator cuff muscles produce rotation in your arm. But what if you don't have any rotation? Look at it this way. Which of these two cups can you fill with more water? This little one right here, pow, or that bad boy right there, that big old water bottle. Of course, you can fill the water bottle with a lot more water. Your shoulder works the same way. Think about the size of the cup as the amount of motion you have and the amount of water you can put in it as strength. If you have no motion whatsoever, only a little bit, you can only get so strong. But if you have a lot of motion, then you can fill that bad boy up with a ton of water or strength. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that most people make when it comes to shoulder rehab. You need to improve your mobility first before working on strength. But you have to know what motions you're limited in. I'm gonna show you how to test your shoulder mobility, and then I'll show you a sequence of exercises to address whichever limitations you have. First, test external rotation by lying on your back. Have your arm at a 90-degree angle at the shoulder and elbow. Let your hand flop backwards without forcing it. We're looking for about 90 degrees here, or your wrist slightly cocked back as it touches the ground. Limitations in external rotation are often associated with tension in the upper back. If this area is tight, it will restrict how well the shoulder blade can rotate and glide on the rib cage. If your shoulder blade can't do a specific rotation, namely internal, then your humerus, your shoulder joint, will be unable to externally rotate. Next, check shoulder internal rotation by doing an Apley's scratch test. The top arm should try and touch the tip of the opposite shoulder blade, and the bottom arm should touch the bottom point of the opposite shoulder blade. If you can't do this, then usually that means the front part of the chest and the lower part of the rib cage are restricted. If these two areas are restricted, same song and dance. It limits how well the shoulder blade can slide and glide, and that will reduce shoulder blade external rotation, which is needed for the shoulder to internally rotate. Now that you know which limitations you have, you can do specific exercises to target each of these restrictions that'll actually help your shoulder function way better than those classic rotator cuff drills. You'll want to start addressing the ER deficits first, and then go after the internal rotation ones. But if you stick around all the way to the end, I'll show you a killer move that can address both at the same time. But I'll warn you, it's pretty tough. This first move improves external rotation. Sit with your elbows resting on a table and have a light mini band around your wrist. Eyes looking straight ahead with your chest facing the wall. Take a slow 5 to 10 count inhale through the nose. If you don't force it, you'll feel your upper back start to move, but it's not gonna feel like a big stretch. Exhale for a 4 to 8 count. As you exhale, spin your hands outward. This actually allows you to drive true external rotation without the common compensation of pinching the shoulder blades together. Continue with 5 to 10 count inhales through the nose and 4 to 8 count exhales through the mouth over the course of the exercise. Now that first drill doesn't drive a whole lot of movement. If you want to get your rotator cuff on point, you actually have to start rotating. Lie on your side with your bottom leg straight and your top hip bent. Your chest should be parallel to the wall. Place a weight in your top hand. Keep your eyes on the weight. Bottom arm should gently press into the ground. Simply hold this position and breathe. Slow 5 to 10 count inhale through the nose and a slow 4 to 10 count exhale through the mouth. To up the difficulty, you can rotate your body in this position. On the inhale, roll onto your back, swinging the top leg across. On the exhale, press the weight to the ceiling and reach the top leg forward, rolling back to the chest parallel position. Those moves will open up external rotation like crazy. But what if you're limited in internal rotation? We have to address different areas of the body to improve this rotation. And if you get this, your rotator cuff is going to work that much better and your shoulder will move and feel wicked good. Lie on your back with a weight in your hand. Knuckles should point to the ceiling. Your waistband area should be flat on the ground. If it's not, elevate your feet. If it's still not, kick your legs to the ceiling, but prepare to have your abs torched. If it's too much though, you can rest your legs on the wall. Slow 5 to 10 count breath in through the nose. Slow 4 to 8 count breath through the mouth. During the exhale, reach your arm toward the ceiling at a 3 to 4 out of 10 effort. You should notice your lower back flatten on the ground. If not, give it time with some slow breaths. Avoid overreaching and crunching. As that kicks in, the pecs and the rectus damn near kill this abdominis, which pulls the rib cage into a more slouched position. This position limits the chest expansion needed to produce internal rotation. Hold this position and continue the slow breaths. If you think that's too easy, you can up the difficulty by driving rotation into this exercise. As you breathe in, move your arm toward external rotation or a handshake position. On the exhale, go back to a fist bump position. Just make sure the rotation comes from the shoulder, as it's common for people to cheat this move by twisting mostly through the forearm. But perhaps an even better move to improve internal rotation like mega is something done in weight bearing, because when you bear weight and you're putting force into the ground, the internal rotation demands increase. Get on hands and knees and look straight down towards the ground. Hands should be flat. Do not grip the fingers. Contact the ground through 2 points, the pisiform, which is this wiggle bone on your wrist, and the base of the index finger. If you can't get those 2 points, try the same move from a neutral grip position by holding onto some dumbbells. Slow 5 to 10 count inhale through the nose, soft 4 to 8 count exhale through the mouth. During the exhale, press your kneecaps and hands into the ground, causing your trunk to move upward. Don't overpress with the arms and crunch, as this will limit the mobility gains. Hold this position and do the same slow breathing throughout. If you want to up the difficulty, on the inhale, press one hand down more. This will cause the opposite hand to lift up. Exhale, place the hand back down. Alternate sides. All of these movements target external and internal rotation respectively. But if you've laid a good foundation and you really want to up the difficulty, you can drive both rotations at the same time. We can achieve this by improving the trunk's ability to rotate. Lie on your side with the forearm on the ground and the bottom hip in less than 90 degrees of hip flexion. Make a C grip with your hand like you're holding a drink. Then pour the drink out. This will contact that wiggly bone that's on the pinky side of your wrist called the pisiform. Reach your top leg forward and log roll your body toward the ground. Keep your nose, chest, and zipper in a straight line. You should feel weight on the bottom outside knee and pisiform. Don't over-rotate the trunk to get these points. If you can't sense them, place wedges under your thigh and forearm. To get the external rotation, place the top arm in a racked position, like you're holding a jacket over your shoulder on prom night. This arm position encourages air into the upper back, which is needed for external rotation. To nab the internal rotation, press your torso up by pressing the pisiform and the knee down. The combination of weight bearing and the arm angle on the support arm are what produce the internal rotation. Take a 5 to 10 count inhale through the nose and a 4 to 8 count exhale through the mouth. Hold this position for 30 to 60 seconds. If you really want to up the difficulty, You can rotate your trunk in this position, but it sucks. On the inhale, drive support leg backward underneath you. And then on the exhale, swing your leg forward. Now, a lot of people who have limited shoulder mobility and think their rotator cuff sucks also have a difficult time getting their arm fully overhead. That sounds like you, then I'd check out this video right here because it gives one of the best strategies out there to help improve your shoulder mobility that much more.